God, I thank you. I thank you for every woman and every man in this place. We are here for a reason. We are not settled. While everyone else is out there thinking of taking a nap, thinking of getting into the traffic and going back home early, thinking about how to go back early and have a nap so that they can go out later in the night, whatever it is, the reasons as to why people are out there. But we have decided to gather in this place to study, to invest our time, to invest our money, and to invest our emotions and everything that we need to invest in such a season as this, because we do not want to get stuck in this season. We want this season to pass and another season to come, and the higher we go, the better we become, the richer we become, the wealthier we become. We have made an intentional decision to be here. So bless the works of our hands, bless the brains that are going to take in and be able to retrieve and be able to share this transformation out there. In the name of the Lord we've prayed. Amen. I'm a believer in prayer. I believe that even in this moment we should have shared a bit of testimonies, but I know that it's going to take quite some time because praise reports are important. Guys, to say that, you know what, this is what I've been able to achieve. This is what I have done. Some of you have been giving that feedback during the check-in, and let me tell you, that is the only thing I look forward to at the end of the day. What were the wins of the day? What did I read? What did I write? What video did I shoot? And you saw Brenda's video and she says, oh, it's a first time video. But the thing is, the closer you are to the fire, the bold you are, the more confident you are, the more you feel like there is a sense of urgency. I cannot just sit on this. I cannot just wait until tomorrow, until next year, until I have good hair, until I buy a nice cloth, until I buy a nice camera. That is when you know that, you know what, this calling is for now, and becoming is now. It's very urgent. So what I felt on my heart to share today, is stubbornness being one of the hindrances of our becoming. Stubbornness being one of the major hindrances of our becoming. We all want to become something. And I will tell you that the path has already been laid. Yeah? God has already created the greatness inside of us. The blueprint has already. You guys know the blueprint? I've given you the story of the blueprint, my story of the blueprint before, of how we had this blueprint in our house. And so we were so poor that our parents could not afford anything. But the best thing, I don't know where they got the blueprint from, because these days you have to go to an architect or someone to be able to draw those plans for you. But I don't know where he got it from, but he must have gotten it from somewhere. But he protected it like his life counted on it. But the thing is about the blueprint is it has a picture, a grand picture of what you want to be able to build, right? Now, in the grand scheme of things, God created a blueprint and already designed that, you know what, there's going to be a master's bedroom here, there's going to be a guest wing here, there's going to be a theater here, there's going to be a home study or home office here, there's going to be a kitchen, there's going to be a laundry room, there's going to be a pantry, there's going to be everything. Like when I was designing my house, clearly, I designed it for convenience and functionality. And I was like, this is where I want everything to be. Now, while the builders are building, I go and check. And I'm like, you know what? No, this is not. I might not know centimeters and how many feet, but I know that this is where I wanted the pantry, and I know this is not how big the pantry is. Let's go back to the measurements. Monsanga ku site, I will take off my shoes or stay in my shoes and start counting those things of taking your foot in front of the other. Have you ever seen them? And I'm like, no, this bedroom was not like, no, this bathroom was not like this. And then they'll be like, you know, madam, now I think we are going to break and extend. But maybe it's not bad. And you know why sometimes our builder, the people that do the construction for us, generally, sometimes they will negotiate with us because they don't see the need. Yeah? And maybe some of them have never even gotten to that capacity of owning such a thing. Do you see that? And this is not to diss anyone, but just imagine someone is saying in a 2-roomed house somewhere, and they are building a 10-bedroomed house somewhere. By the time you're building a 10-bedroomed house somewhere, that means your store is going to be as big as his sitting room. So when you are negotiating for storage capacity and space, he doesn't see the reason as to why you're negotiating for it. Now, I'm saying all this to show you that there's a blueprint that was already laid. And now, most of the times, the self-sabotage is what it's like the constructors who negotiate and say, this bathroom, it's okay, a person can stand in it. I didn't say I want a person to stand in it. I didn't say I want a person to stand in the bathroom. What I want is a person can play ballet, someone can come and, as in whatever it is that they want to do in the bathroom, it has to have space. So now, do you see how the enemy negotiates with us and is like, but you know what? You got married and you have children. What more do you want? The blueprint inside of you is screaming and it is saying, is this it? No, there is more. There is more fulfillment. This can't be it, because infinitely inside of us, there is a part of us that knows us more than we know ourselves. There is a part of us that knows that there is greatness, that there is more money, that there is more beauty, that there is more fulfillment, that there is more, whatever it is, wealth, that there is more space for us to take up. That part inside of us is there. Otherwise, we would never be getting frustrated and depressed. Because then, if you think that is it, have you ever seen someone and like, how do they survive? Meanwhile, for them, they are more party. But you're asking yourself, how do they survive? As in, when God elevates you from a certain place, and you look at that place and how people are surviving in that place, you're thinking, oh my God, I cannot survive with that money. I cannot survive. Me, to have 200,000 shillings in a day? There are people who are surviving on 200,000 shillings for a month. But for you, you can't survive. So that means that there are certain things that we have seen and we have had people, and sometimes this is what the enemy says, beyogeza. They're just speaking for the sake, they are just speaking for the sake. No. When God exposes you to certain things, just know there is a certain more something that is out there, and your spirit knows it. So your spirit is longing for it. That is why we said we want to grow. We want to elevate. We want to accelerate. We know that there is a place that we must get to. But we're like, we have this one life and we must as well run, not just scroll to that place. We might as well run. We need the clarity. That clarity exists. We might as well run towards it. So that blueprint, God created us inside of us. But there's something in Exodus 32:9 that talks about, and we're just going to read that. We're not going to read the whole context. It says that I have seen these people, the Lord said to Moses, and they are stiff-necked. They are what? Stiff-necked. Now, in this particular place, he was talking about the donkeys, yeah? So he was using an agricultural term to actually explain what stiff-necked means. That means as the donkey is being ridden, you see there, but what do we call them? The reins, yeah? Someone holds the reins and is able to show them direction. If you want them to branch this side, you pull up this rein so that it can know that you're going this side. If you want to go this side, it's like a sheep, it's like everything else that has a direction. Now, in this case, you hold the rein and the donkey shows you, I am not going the side that you want me to go. I am no, or the oxen, you want it to dig, and it's saying, no, I am actually not lifting my neck. I am not digging, not today. Yeah? So that means it has a purpose, yeah? But it has refused to do that purpose. So here it was using that metaphor to explain what the stiff-necked means. That means you will not yield, you will not move, you will not shift, you will not go. And some of us, because of stubbornness, we are seated in certain places in our lives where we should have gone away from long time ago, where we should have grown from long time ago. And guess what? We have so many excuses, so many excuses. Some of us, I think we have given excuses of, but for me, I am like that because in our family, we were like that. Yeah, because being stiff-necked does not mean, by the way, sometimes it does not mean that you're going to be arrogantly loud. Sometimes it is just, you're not saying no, but you're not saying yes. How many of us have been in that place? You're not saying utterly no. You're not saying no. So, for example, you've signed up for accelerated mentorship, and we are saying this is the criteria, this is the roadmap. You have the same mentor, you have the same classes, you have the same everything, and you're like, those things. Over there are too many. Over there are too overwhelming. Over there are too, and then you're like, instead of saying yes, and you're like, let me just do the first part of understanding my niche. Let me just do one part. I'm not going to do all the parts. Let me do just one part of understanding my niche. And then after I nail my niche, then I can go to the next one of understanding my audience. But you don't say yes. You don't say no to anything, but you don't say yes either. There are so many people, even in your churches, yeah, who do not, or in their places of worship, they don't say, no, me, I don't want God, I'm not coming back to these things. But guess what? They come to the place of worship every day that they're supposed to be there, but they're not saying yes to growth as well. So they're like frogs in a pipe, and they're saying, I'm going to swell from here. Whoever is passing, munzirukako, kanzimbe, kansigalemo pipe. We are not going anywhere. You get it? Not forgetting, forgetting that everyone has a lane. You bulging and blocking the pipe is you blocking yourself because of your stiff neck and your stubbornness. And guess what? I have my own pipe, and I am going to lubricate it with water, and I will come sliding shoo into into whatever clarity I have to stumble in. I'm like, you know what? Where is the clarity? They told me that clarity is here. So and so is the only one that can help me. I'm like, you know what? I will go. I will go and see what I can actually get there. I will pay the money. I will seek for the time. I will seek for the appointment. So you see that the obstacles that stubbornness brings sometimes are disguised as a sense of independence. I don't want to ask from anyone. I don't want to, I am Madame Know-It-All. So I think I can figure it out. Because you guys, yeah, there is something called ChatGPT, and there is something called Google. And, you can ask any question from those things, and then you can get like answers. You can get like 1,000 answers. So ChatGPT will apply for you. It will execute. Do you see the stubbornness of everything that we want? Do you know that there is such a thing as YouTube University? I agree 100%. There is such a thing called YouTube University. But guess what? You will go to YouTube University until your head gets scattered. Because no sooner, have you jumped on this bandwagon, and then you're like, but there are things I don't believe in properly here. It's like people who are church hoppers. Have you seen church hoppers? Who keep saying that pastor doesn't have anointing. No, if it's not stubbornness, tell me what that is. Tell me what that is. Because how do you measure anointing? Yeah? So you see how sometimes we are stuck, not because we are evil, not because we are not capable, not because we don't have the potential, but because we are stubborn. And then we know what we ought to do, because the instruction comes, because guidance comes, the correction comes, but we're just saying, you know what? I just don't want to do that. And you're not telling it to anyone. Yeah? Your mother sends you, and we used to do those things when we were young. You don't tell her, I'm not going, because you can't tell, I'm a mature person, I'm not going to bring it. But as well, you might march in the direction of where you're being sent, and you stop in the middle and do other things. You go and then come, hey, I said so and so. It's like, she's playing, clearly. She didn't say, no, I'm not going to. She said, okay. And then she didn't say yes. Because if she had said yes, she would have gone and actually gotten the things that she needs to be able to get. So some of us are stuck in seasons that we are not supposed to be in because of the stiff neck. The stiff neck that won't just do what we are supposed to do. And then we refuse to yield, we refuse to shift, we refuse to move, we refuse to do anything. And this is because I was looking at it and I was like, some of us are just unwilling to adjust. the lack of willingness or the unwillingness to make adjustments that we need to adjust, because the elevation that we need is on the other side of making some adjustments. On the other side of saying, you know what, I need to wake up at different time. If I am going to beat writing this book with the kind of schedule that I have, I think I need to make an adjustment and wake up early. Or I need to make an adjustment and write at night, so that I don't have to wake up very early in the morning. So while everyone else is going to bed and everything else is closed down, I will stick out for 1 more hour and do. That is adjustment. Yeah? While you're saying that, you know what, I know I have this calling and indeed I am gifted. When I speak, I shift rooms, but there is someone, she's doing something that I think is more than what I am doing, but I think I need to be able, so the adjustment to even network with them, the adjustment to walk into their space. The adjustment is your body is saying we don't want to go, but because you know the future that you want and the future that you are building, you're like, you know what, even if it is to go and wipe their shoes, I will wipe their shoes because I want an entrance into their place. Does it make sense that we don't want to make adjustments? That yes, Chibubu, boyfriend, fiancé, I mean, you love him so much, but you realize that every time you're with him, there is nothing that gets done. Yes. And then you're like, you know what? I am not protecting anything, right? I am not tight marking. If I have to tight mark you, that means you don't even belong in my life. Yeah? So I am going to adjust my schedule and excuse myself and say, between 4 and 8, I'm actually going to be in this place, okay? And then if they throw tantrums, that means they are not in support of your growth. Some of us fear rocking the boat. You don't want to say what you need to say in order to make the adjustment. Some of you want to fast, but you cannot fast because of the people in your life. You see a seminar or a conference that you want to go to, but when you tell others, they will laugh at you. But for you keep going to every conference. You will even get demons from the conferences that you go to. Why? Because sometimes we have naysayers in our lives. And by the way, sometimes those naysayers are even husbands or wives. You tell her, and you're like, kakati yogenda kuigira buli kimu kye weetaaga mbulamu. And you're like, ee. Like, they will not say no, but they will give you a remark. And that remark will be enough for you to drink some porridge and some water and mind your business and stay put and not make any adjustment. But let me tell you, certain things are imparted. It is not even just the knowledge that you're going for, because that knowledge you could have looked at for it from elsewhere. The words that I'm speaking, am I speaking Greek? No, I am speaking English, usual words. You have heard them before, but there is something that is going to shift in your life today because of the power that is not on the words, but on Bahati as a person. Some people hold keys to doors, and some people are doors themselves. So once you learn to make the adjustment and say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to shift. I'm just going to change something. I'm just going to write that book. I'm just going to one step into the room. I'm just going, and you're like, God, do the rest. But the obedience and the surrender, that is what I am going to do, because the opposite of stubbornness and stiff-necked is surrender. Are we together? In this journey, none of us, when I was building this brand or becoming who I am today, who I am not satisfied with, guys, I am not. I am on a quest every day to become better. But I am not looking to be right. No, that's not what I'm looking. In this season, all I want is to win. Because right does not matter. So if I am right, then what? Oh, I want to argue. I know of people who love arguing. When you bring a subject, if it doesn't have arguing for them, they are not content. But if you want to see them sweating and coming out with their power, they want to be winning. You know, I am the right one. You know, that one is not good. You know, that one is this and this. You know, that one tajak malako. You know, his marriage will not work. No, I don't want to be right. I want to win. So if I want to win, I'm going to focus on me and my journey and my process. Okay? So if I want to accelerate, I'm not going to ask. It's like when you're accelerating, when you're running a marathon, and then you want to increase speed, and then you want to ask everyone around you, but kale, tuongeremu. Must you do that? The thing is, you are the one that wants to get to the finishing line. You are the one that wants the victory, right? And you want it so bad. So even when if you want it so bad, even when your legs are getting tired, even when you are running out of breath, even when you'll be like, you know what, you will make a small prayer through your teeth, and you'll be like, you know what, I am making it to the finishing line. So at the moment where everyone is giving up, you are increasing speed, and everyone is like, what's wrong with this person? But some of us are in the acceleration, guess what? But you are busy asking others, you also run speed. You also increase your speed. And you're like, but you're running very fast. You slow down so that we can catch up with you. Who is slowing down so that you can catch up with them? No one is going to slow down. Okay? So, if this thing is not working, one prayer I have made to God is, where I am working is not working, let me know so that I can shift. If the relationship I am in is not working, let me know so that I can make a shift. Yeah? If the crowd, Genesis vehicle that I am working with is not working or going to where I am headed, let me know so that I can make the shift. And that calls for being open-minded and listening to the silent voice. Do you know why sometimes we become so stiff? It's because the conviction disappears. When you start a journey, there is a way God convicts you. Have you ever seen something, we call it something, it wakes you up, yeah, to read. Sometimes you will land on a certain post and then you will read more into it and it will make a lot of sense, or you research more into it and God is speaking now. The moment you put your tools down because of certain seasons of your life, yeah, because growth has to happen whether we are whether we are in a good season or a bad season. Growth has to happen. The becoming cannot wait. You cannot say, let me press a pause button so that I don't become great right now. I want to become great later. But we do that to ourselves. And we do it in action. We don't do it in words. Because the reason as to why you laughed at it is because I said it in words. Because it sounds so weird and fake, right? When I say, I was about to become a global speaker, but let me pause so that I can finish up with this wahala of boyfriend. I can finish up with this wahala of Usmani. I have people at work, they are busy beating me on elbows. So let me first deal with this. Then, God, first wait. I don't want to get that much money. I first want to lose weight so that I can get the money. Does it sound weird? But that is what we do. Because the moment we feel a bit big and a bit fat like this, and then you're like, now when I shoot a video, the chicks are going to look like, how? And you're like, let me give myself 1 week. And let me tell you, this is what the enemy does. He throws you in a trap. The 1 week you give yourself, that is the week you eat the most. Has it ever happened to you? When you say, let me give myself 1 week like this so that I can fast, or so that I can eat clean, so that I can, that is when your body is set to go against you. The moment you tell your body to eat clean, it's thinking it's going to starve. So this is what happens. The hormones that crave kick in. So now you start, it's like when you tell people, I am going to fast. Do you know that is when you fail to fast? You warned your body. But the moment you walk into it like, this is a posture of my heart and this is what I want to do. Do you know that you get to do it? So I want us to be very vigilant. Just like I said, when I speak about it, it feels so weird. Some of us have pressed the pauses. That is when you're like, maybe you get something discouraging, you put everything down. And then this is what we do. I feel unmotivated. Do you think anyone feels motivated in this world? I will tell you the truth. Not even John C. Maxwell feels motivated. Not anyone feels motivated. Do you know why every football player will even have a personal manager and they will have personal trainers? Ask me. If my instructor does not come, that is the happiest day of my life. seriously, but I am, guys, you pay and then you jubilate for an instructor not to come. What is that? And then, while the instructor is busy giving you what to do, because an instructor will always do with you, yeah, most of the times, to give you the morale. Yeah, so here I am. Every morning we are doing with Mr. Sabiti. He's there, I am here. And sometimes now in the holidays we've been having Ariella and everyone join us. But he's there, I am here. The instructor is in front of us. While he's lifting this leg, lifting that leg, and lifting that leg. For me, I am here, I am thinking he's facing the other side, he's not seeing me, so let me do little. Guys, I'm being truthful about my weaknesses. You know, I will be here saying, you guys in Chikuba, you know. But the thing is, when he looks the other side, then that is when the devil comes into your mind and is like, you lift katono, you lift katono. And then when he's turning, then you go. Who is cheating who? Like, seriously, who is cheating who? I'm cheating myself, right? Because I am the one who wants to become. Right? I am paying for the becoming. I left my bed to become. Likely, I would have had my sweet blanket on me. These days it has been raining. Today I walked out in rain. While it's drizzling. And I am busy and he's telling me, no. But I have left, clearly I have missed certain things. I have missed my bed. Yeah. And the money has gone. The one who is supposed to help is around. But I'm the one who is stiff-necked. Like, lift your work out your like this, and clearly you're lifting like this. Oh, you're holding them tight like this, while for him he's lifting and lifting, and no sooner he makes an about and then you start. And you're like, even the Bible tells you foolish Galatians, who bewitched you? Sometimes I'm a foolish Galatian, I admit. But that applies to all of us. That applies to all of us. So, stubbornness, okay? The stiff-necked. So, I need you to make that prayer. Like, I made my prayer and I'm like, God, if something is not working, let me know. Give me the conviction so that I can actually work on it, okay? And most of the times, this is quiet resistance. Just like I told you, we are not arrogantly out there, open rebellion. I am not going to do, because if I were not going to work out, I would say, no, I am not going. I remember there are days I have woken up and I feel so weak. And then I just mentioned it. I just mentioned it to Mr. Sabiti, and I'm like, you know what? And he's like, Hilda, I am not leaving this bedroom without you. I am not leaving this bedroom without you. And then he will go get the shoes, get my workout clothes, and put them there. Accountability partners. So, for me, I will have mercy on myself. And so many of us have mercy on ourselves. Right? But the thing is, who are you becoming for? For yourself, right? How much time do we have? No, if you ask yourself, like, how much time do you have? Clearly, if God called you back home right now, would you stand before him and expect the words of welcome, good and faithful servant? Yes, we have done what we have done, but that is not the measure that God wants us to do. If he says he wants us to live in abundance, that is not the kind of money that you must have. No. That is not the kind of life that you must have. That is not the kind of happiness that you must have. That means there is something that we must be able to do between where we are and where we ought to be. And some of us don't know the definition of potential, but potential is where you are, the difference between where you are and where you want to be. The difference between what you are right now and what you want to be. The difference between what you have right now and what you want to have. The difference of everything is the potential. So many of us, the potential is, last year, let's just give an example. Maybe you should have made, let me just give a random example. If you made 10 millions every month, that means you would make 120 millions a year, right? If I ask randomly, it's very possible that there is someone who netted 12 millions in the whole year. Right? So now, when you get the 12 millions versus that 120 millions, that means you lost out. Your potential was, calculate the difference. How much is that? Yeah? If you got 10 millions versus 120, that means you missed out on 110 millions. Now, that is your potential. But because we never see it like that, when you ask yourself, how much am I making right now? And you're like, but truthfully speaking, if I executed everything that I need to execute, if I gave myself the timelines, if just like Nalongo told us the other day, she started promoting her bites before even, as in it wasn't the season for kids to go to school. And she was surprised that people were buying. Yeah? And she was like, I mean, I've always waited until it is time for people to go to school. So do you see how much potential we lose so many times? Because we are doing things like other people, or we are just not taking into accountability that there is the us right now. But truthfully speaking, if I could save money between now and the end of the year, how much money can I save? And you're like, oh, you know what? I can actually do 20 millions. And then all of a sudden you have predicted 20 millions, but you end up buying purple bags. You end up buying lipstick that you already have. You end up buying bra when they tell you this bra lifts like this. You're like, I want that one that lifts like this. You end up, and you're like, but this panty holds your stomach like this. Even if you have those that hold your stomach 1,000 times, you will buy another one. But like, there are those of us that are addicted to buying saucepans. How many of us are addicted to buying saucepans? I am number one on them. I will lift them like this, even if I have the same saucepan. But this one weighs a little more. It's like a kilo. I'm like, this one, I want it. But the thing is, who are we cheating? Ourselves. So you pray, you say, God, I do not want to be stiff-necked. I do not want. And stiff-neck, this thing shows up. It has shown up in so many places. But I want us to be able to go into how it defends dysfunction. Stubbornness, let's go. It defends dysfunction. You are not functioning, but you are giving yourself all the reasons as to why you are not functioning. You know, Jaja Yandoga. You know, ate mama ya dekaunga nchali muto. Ate, and guess what? There are people who are in your same boat, who are going through the same things that you're going through, but they are actually thriving. So ask yourself, why? Why can't I do this? Okay, so you start justifying unhealthy habits. You know, the fatter you are, the bigger you are, the more you crave, you know, big things. The more you crave sugar. So I just find myself craving sugar. So sugar has control over you. Yeah, carbohydrates have control over you. And you're like, it's genes. You know, this kind of eating, it's genes. You know, even my grandmother used to eat like that. Hey. And then one of your goals in 100 days of becoming, or in the becoming journey altogether, is losing weight. And you're like, but you know, these things, you know, when you're cooking for children, again, you have to eat, and then you have to taste, and then you have to do what? Excuses. Do not defend dysfunction. Right? And then, you know, the industry is saturated. Can you imagine how many boutiques do we have in Uganda? How many coaches are there? Everyone is speaking something. You see the internet. When I want to post something, I find it on another person's page. How many of you have faced that? You know? And so you keep scrolling. You even go to that person's page and you look at all and you're like, this should be me. Like, this is exactly what I had inside of me. But I even didn't know how to bring it. And then you land on another one. Some of you have even saved the names of accounts that you should revisit, because you're like, yes, am I lying? And you're like, if I want to do, I find it already done. That is defending dysfunction. Can you blind your eyes if it means unfollowing everyone on your social media platform and you go back to your authenticity? For me, that has helped me so much. Where I do not consume anyone's content, I only do according to what I feel inside of me. Are they let me tell you, what you call inspiring content out there, I want you to go and tell me for sure if most of it is not chat GPT. You can literally smell it from afar that this is chat GPT. That means people are not putting in effort. Yes, they are putting in effort because of the prompts, and maybe when you put a certain prompt, it gives you different results. But how about I have relied on my head for a very long time, and I have been a very good writer, and all of a sudden, I want to start doubting my writing. So, stop. And then number 2, it delays destiny. You start justifying unhealthy, yeah? You extend the journey. It's delaying your destiny. You're just going around because year after year you're giving the same excuses because you're stiff-necked, right? You're like, you know what? These things, there are so many influencers. Again, people have so many things, and then people have good cameras, and then we always have something. People have created better courses, and then you want to peep into everyone's course. No, God gave you a brain, and He knew that you were created for those people. And they knew that there is someone who will need your services. So can you trust yourself? Can you have the certainty and know that whatever I am creating is needed? It is good, and it is actually going to help someone. Number 3, it hardens the heart. The more you resist correction, the more numb you become. Conviction and divine alignment just fly away. You have nothing, none of those, okay? And you don't want that to happen to you. And when you go back to the Bible, there is something that it must be in Luke, and it's the 3 crosses, where Jesus was in the middle and the sinners, and how stubborn and unrepentant the other one was, and how surrendered and understanding the other one was. So you realize that the one that had the stiff neck and was stubborn, yeah, ended up not in paradise. The one that was repentant and surrendered ended up in paradise. But there are so many lessons that we can learn from that, because stubbornness will not let us release grudges. We will always hold on to grudges. We want to fight so-and-so. We want to beef so-and-so. We want to think they are not doing a good job. We are not in this journey of becoming to compete. We are not here to compare notes. We are not here to compare our speed to other people. Because the moment I sent to you something about comparison, and there were 2 men that were running in that same direction, and one of them faced and looked at this person, maybe to see the speed at which they are running, to see whether they are going to get faster. And guess what? They tripped and fell. Why? Because every time you are in stiff neck, you have refused to look at your destiny, but clearly you're looking at other people. Yeah? Says, fix your gaze on me, the author and the perfecter of your faith. And you're saying, no, I'm not going to fix my gaze on you. Yeah? I am going to fix it on other people. Why are they doing this kind of content? Why are they doing these kinds of things? Why is she marrying that man? Look at their child. You know, why is her child going to that school? Like, you are busy. Can you imagine? That hair makes her look old. Who puts on red lipstick these days? Like, in this generation, do you know nude is the in thing? It is on Vogue. Like, you are busy. You know, this one is talking about relationships as if we are in 1900. The scope of relationship has changed. Like, you are busy, but doing nothing. Okay, so stubbornness won't you release the grudges and comparison, and then stubbornness will not let you repurpose your suffering. Repurpose your suffering. Let me tell you, God wants you to use your suffering, or He wants to use your suffering, what you have gone through, the pain to purpose that we talked about. But guess what? We get to let God use our suffering. If we don't let Him use our suffering will be in vain, and we will continue in suffering. That means suffering has to end in order for us to have a testimony and for us to be able to strengthen others while we base on the pain that we went through. But so many of us, no, we will not let God use our suffering, okay? Some of us, we just stay the way we are for as long as we are out of the problem, yeah? We don't remember anything. You're like Jonah out of the whale. Then he forgets totally what the mission was. Again, his memory was as short-lived as he was in the fish. So some of us, we go through suffering and then we forget everything about suffering. So that means you have not learned your lessons. You are bound to come back to the same suffering. because your memory was as short-lived as as when you left the suffering. So stubbornness will not let you repurpose. How you repurpose your suffering is, like Felicia, I do not want another girl to go through what I went through. She's repurposing her suffering. She's letting God use her suffering. When you're stiff-necked, you're like, you know what? This is how I am. You keep quiet with your message and you do nothing about your message, even the longing for more, all right, in our lives. And then stubbornness will not let you recognize your things, your stuff, your responsibility, your everything. You will always be pointing fingers at other people. You're like, you know what, it's because of my husband that I am poor. You know, it's because of my sister. It's because my mother, you know, they didn't plan for me. Me, I was not a planned kid. They were just having fun. Boom, I appeared. And, you know, there was no planning. But the thing who was planned for, especially in my generation, I don't think there is any of us in my generation where our parents sat down and they were like, you know what, let's plan, let's buy a baby crib. Some of us, our mothers, even were getting clothes like one day to giving birth. Yeah. Some of our fathers would never even step in the hospitals. I mean, what are you talking about? These days, a woman will not go home, my friend. That is, that is the end of the marriage, you know. But our mothers, they would even pay for antenatal, pay for giving birth, and then go back and say, "Mwana wa msajja." Yeah, but and which is the truth, right? It does not change the fact. Okay, so stubbornness will not allow you. Let me just repeat that one. Recognize your responsibility. It will not allow you recognize your responsibility. Remember Adam, the woman that you gave me? Yeah? Instead of saying, I actually ate the fruit. But it's either the woman that you gave me, it's the school system, you know, in Uganda, Kale school system. There is a way it just takes us round. By the time you want to become, you have already gotten old and then you're tired, you're exhausted. Stop blaming the system. Do something right now about it. And then stubbornness will not allow you to reframe your speech. Do you know some of us, it's because of our open mouths that some 10 doors are shut? We don't know what to speak, when to speak it, to who to speak it to. And all of a sudden, doors are shutting one after another. And you're like, hey, am I the one with the problem? Indeed, you're the one with the problem. But for some reason, we always find a way of talking to other people, especially if you're the common denominator. And you know, people never discover that they're a common denominator in something. Like, okay, you've had 5 boyfriends. 5 boyfriends. And they are all drunkards. We admit, they are all drunkards. And they are all cheats. But who is the problem? Who chooses those boyfriends? The same actress, the drama queen. The same drama queen chooses carefully. Leaves the respectful, leaves the hardworking, leaves the God-fearing, and chooses her drunkards. And then after that, I think all men are drunkards. I think all men are evil. All men are evil. They will even have their upper finger like this. All of them. For me, I decided to be single. My friend. You decide to be single. Some of us are enjoying. Sorry? Heaven is the goal. It's okay. Let me tell you. Me, I'm getting my 100 here. 100 where? Here. And 100 where? In heaven. So I will do everything I need to do. Coach Emily told us, while you're brushing, you shape the butt. Chikumi kunsi, chikumi kugulu. Not saying that, you know, you can just go salimbaz, you go mugulu. You know, okay, kale on earth, I don't have figure, but I will find a figure in heaven. It will not find you. Shape your butt while you can. Coach Emily, this fitness game is not easy. I be thinking, they tell you to repeat Simanyi what? You said to repeat what? She's going to show us. She's going to show us, but stubbornness will not allow you to reframe your speech. It makes you do things that close the door. Everywhere you go, the doors are being closed because you say something and you're like, you can't sit down and say, where did I learn how to speak like this? Where did I learn this level of arrogance? Where did I learn? Because if you know you're the problem, then you will sit down and you're like, before I knock on anyone else's door, before I take on any boyfriend or any girlfriend, before I go to any employer, I must circumcise my mouth. I should know when to speak, when not to speak. I should know when the opinion is bubbling, but the opinion is going to rub people the wrong way, and I should know how to cool it with cold water. Go to the bathroom, put some water in your head, then compose yourself, then come back. Coach Mole taught us about that. Go with your pepper bag and start. Let your heart come back to the normal pulse. Even in your marriage. Because if you're not careful, your mouth can shut your own marriage, can close your own marriage. And you will say, but don't I have the right to say anything? No, madam, you don't have the right to say anything. Just anything. Not everything that comes to your head must be said. Even if you are right 100%, certain statements must be packaged and wrapped in order to be understood or delivered with grace. Yeah? But on this journey of becoming, you want to collaborate with someone, but it's like you're ordering them. Yeah? Instead of pitching them and showing them what strength you bring to the table and how you think your strength can help them and how their strength can help you. And you're like, but if you're not willing, there are so many people that are, that are willing to do this. No, if there were so many people, why did you knock on my door? To tell me that there are so many people, go and first try them before you can come to me. So they seem subtle, but especially the Gen Z generation, go downwards, it has become something totally different. Back in our generations, I mean, you would not, these days, you're explaining to a child, go to bed, and they're saying, but mommy, but. I'm like, but what? This is not a negotiation. I said one word, go to bed. But in this generation, they will negotiate. But now I'm teaching my children, you do not negotiate. If it's bedtime, it is bedtime. So yesterday, they saw the dad went back and they had repainted their living room, their playroom, and to a darker color because they were writing on the walls. 3-year-olds and 5-year-olds. And I'm like, this is not acceptable. No sooner was the painting done, the following day, that is yesterday, we found still things on the wall. This time not writing, I don't know what it was. But apparently things were on the wall. Now Ariel and Ariella got kibokos, like serious kibokos, where the dad was like, you sit and tell me we are going to agree, there are going to be 5 hot ones. You don't touch, you don't do anything. Beat them properly. While Asahel is the 3-year-old, he was looking. While they were beating the first one, and it was like, so he was also reporting, a 3-year-old. He has a bit of delayed speech. So, I'm saying Ariel is the one who put those things up. Ariel, and Ariel is saying, even Asahel was involved. And he's saying, no! Like, his life depended on it. But you should have seen him while he was bypassing his dad. He was looking at him and thinking, don't pull me into this circus. So when I told him, I told him, Asahel, bedtime. And I was like, no. And then I told him, should I tell daddy to come? He put his finger in the mouth, entered the bedroom, closed that. He entered the bed and covered himself. And then he told me, with his finger still in the mouth, he told me, Mommy, close that door. And I was like, hey, in this house, no more bargaining, because they've been bargaining with me. You're telling them to go there like, but mommy, can we watch cartoon for 2 minutes? Can we watch? And I'm like, now today, I know what it means. When they tell me, but mommy, I was like, should I call daddy? He's the man of terror in the house. But stubbornness has made us miss so many things when it comes to the journey of becoming. It blocks the wise counsel. Because you're stubborn, you will never listen to wise counsel. When a coach, I've seen people come to my office and all of a sudden they look at you And they're like, "Aye, yogase, tumale tuve one." But guess what? They paid for the session. And sometimes it's a couple that has paid for an intensive. An intensive is 600,000. An intensive is 600,000. So you pay your 600,000, yeah, for 3 hours, and I only allocate it when I know I have time, yeah? So I can do one intensive or 2 intensives in a month. But you pay your money. Clearly, I've given you time that does not hurt me, eh? Because most of the intensives I do them with Mr. Sabiti. So while we are on our way to go and have fun, we decided to sit with a couple for 3 hours to just talk through their issue. And guess what? Sometimes the man will show you that if I knew we were going to come here, I would not come. If that is not stubbornness, tell me what it is. Stiff-necked. And this is what happens. When you give them assignment or you tell them there's a follow-up session, then when you follow up clearly, you will always know who is not going. Even when we are going to call up for follow-up, we know who is not going to pick up. We know who is not going to appear. Why? Because of the stubbornness, right? And guess what? The next call is usually a woman saying, I packed my bags and left. 100% of all the couples that we meet, if the man is stubborn, or one of them, if the woman is stubborn, the next thing is the man leaves, and usually the man will usually tell us, I just went the way I was. I didn't pick up any shirt, I didn't pick up any trouser, but I didn't go back home, and I'm not planning to go back home, but I'm sending them money for feeding. Why? Because this journey is about learning and unlearning. It's about becoming better. And so if you don't want to become better with someone and they feel it is killing them, they are going to make a decision without you, right? They are going to, no, you're not hooked to them forever. They'll be like, you know what? I don't think he feels the same kind of pain that I feel because he's on the giving side of this pain, or the woman is on the giving side of the pain. So that is why most times people have this cliche of give them the dose of their own medicine so that they can see. But no one can handle the dose of their own medicine. They usually like giving because it is bitter. And guess what? They know that it is bitter, but they are not willing to change. Their statement is usually, njagala anga bwendi. But in this age and era, no one is going to love you the way you are. We have a lot to do. Back then, we didn't know these things of becoming, chasing purpose, becoming better for other people. Right now, we know that it's not all about giving birth and having a home. It is more about purpose, finding why you're on earth, finding your gifts, your talents, becoming better and helping so many other people. All right? So, and then stubbornness breeds pride and self-reliance. It breeds pride and self-reliance. And it attracts divine resistance. Let me tell you, when God says that I resist the poor, God resists the poor. And he lifts the humble, right? So that means humility is when you know that there is direction, there is correction, I am supposed to move, I am supposed to go. And you're like, God, I might not have the full scope of where I am going, but I'm going to take the first step. Yeah, I might not know the whole thing of I want to be an international speaker. Yeah, I want to be a global coach. But if the first step is me understanding my niche, I am going to feed that word niche in Google, in ChatGPT. I am going to go to Coach Bahati. I'm going to, let me take one step, and then you will illuminate the way for me, for everything else, for the clarity that I need. Some of us, we want all the clarity while we are seated in one place. We are like, when I reach Coach Bahati's place, all I want, I want the full scope opened up to me. Yeah? And then all of a sudden, you wait, you're consuming. Before you know it, you're constipated with information. Yeah, because you're not... Yes, there is such a thing as information constipation. Yeah, overload. Because then you're not doing anything about it. We said, consume a little, do a little. Consume a little, do a little. When we get to content, create. Even if it is your nose in the video alone, create. So, because next time you will be able to adjust and give us the cheek. Then the other time you will put both cheeks. The other time you will put your forehead as well. And then we'll be like, you know what? As in, do children start walking by running? No. But if they waited and they were like, I want to see the full scope of how I will look when I am 30 years old before I can start moving. They will be paralyzed, right? Because they will sit and wait. But the moment they feel a bit of strength, they're on jerrycans, they are trying to do something. No wonder it becomes so easy for them to start running and to start walking. So many of us have been stuck at this level. And I want any one of you that thinks you're very honest with yourself and you're like, there's a level at which I am stuck. There's certain monies that I've been earning for a very long time, but I am stuck in that kind of money. There's certain clients that I've been getting, but I'm stuck with those clients. Like, I'm not getting new clients, and I'm not even retaining. Okay, that there's a level that I am just tired. I know that it's a good level. Some people look at me and they admire me, but deep down, I know this is not the level where I am supposed to be. And you can say, how many of us are very honest and say, there's a part of me that is stubborn? I know for sure there's a part of me that is stubborn. There's a part of me that is stiff-necked. That when God is telling me face this side, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to face this side. God is telling you create, you're like, I'm going to consume. Yeah. God is telling you, take a step, do something. That is why I don't take time when I hear an instruction and I know this is a God instruction, I will actually go for it. I didn't plan for 100 days of becoming. Did I announce to you that in 6 months I'm going to do 100 days of becoming? No. Do you know the fire it has ignited in people's bellies to change their circumstances and their lives? And for me, even if it was one thing, one person that it ignited, for me that will be enough. I remember when I met John Maxwell in March, and I introduced myself. I was like, no, Bahati, you don't need to introduce yourself. I know you, and I know what you have been doing. And on this earth, even if God had just put me on this earth to influence you, for you to do the work that you are doing, I would have won. I would go back to God happy. And he spoke it with tears in his eyes. And I didn't know what to do. In that moment, I was lost. I was supposed to take a picture. We were supposed to chat, but I was tongue-tied. I was like, you know what? I just took it in. I looked down. Clearly, I failed to speak. And I was like, this is the weight of the call. This is a burden of someone that has become, for the past 60 years of his life, 75 years of his life. If he thinks influencing one person is enough for him to go back to the Father, then I am still joking. I am still joking. I still have work to do. So guys, let's come out of stubbornness. Yeah? I'll know where you're stubborn and work on your stubbornness. Maybe I'll find some other time where I will talk about how to come out of stubbornness, but I wanted us to understand what stubbornness looks like and how the blessing of God only comes through surrender, and it only comes through cooperating with the Holy Spirit and listening to the voice of God and doing the things that we are supposed to do. Okay.